Kia ora koutou, ko Anthony Aho. I'm back up on Drayton Reserve, up above Red Cliffs. You can see New Brighton Beach over there in the estuary. Sun's just starting to set, so we're coming close to the golden hour, so everything's beautiful. It sounds beautiful out here. There's birds chirping occasionally. Maybe not right now, but they are chirping. Now I know I'm a bit late with last week's video. This is kind of this week's video, and I've kind of skipped last week's video. Basically life just got in the way in terms of making a video, so I'll catch you up on where I've been at. Been very busy at work, but I've managed to keep going with the training, so I've managed to hit most of my training goals. Last Sunday I managed to go for a run. It was supposed to be an endurance run. It was supposed to be, I can't remember, like 16 Ks or something. Basically, the weekend just got away from me. It ended up being like 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and I just needed to go for a run. Balin, my son, needed to get out of the house, and I was just like, okay, let's just chuck him in the stroller. We'll go for like an hour. We'll just run. He can have a run around the rugby fields that are just down the road from us, and I'll get some kilometers in. And it's not going to be my target run, but it's something on the legs. Aside from that little hiccup, I've hit all my other targets. The big change this week was stepping up so on Wednesday when I did my intervals, I was doing 2-minute VO2 max intervals, and I do 5 of those, and then either side of that I'm doing a steady state run. Yesterday, Saturday, I've stepped that up to 3 minutes. Now, doing 1-minute intervals, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, and that 1 minute on is your absolute max you can do for 1 minute. That's reasonably hard, but it's not you're dying at the end. 2 minutes is just a bit of a step up. It's like adding a bit of weight on the bar if you're going for some squats. It's more challenging, but it doesn't feel different. 3 minutes of hard running feels different than 2 minutes, I can tell you that. And I'm sure those of you that are smarter than me, who know a lot more about exercise physiology and energy systems, will tell me that you're now in your anaerobic glycolysis period of running and all sorts of stuff, and you're burning out. But basically it's very challenging, very challenging to run, to first of all find a pace that you can run consistently that is your max that you can do for 3 minutes, and then only have 3 minutes off, and then do it again and do that 5 times. It's very hard because you end up running a bit too fast at the start. You're sort of like, oh, okay, that second one I've got to run a little bit slower, and it gets messy. But it's very difficult, but good difficult. It's challenging me. It's teaching me to build up my VO2 max, which is what this period of training is all about, building up my VO2 max before I move on to the next period, which is lactic threshold training. Now, second thing I wanted to talk about, my new additions to my gear. I went out and splashed out, and I got another pair of gloves, because I am a poor little boy from subtropical Tamaki Makaurau who struggles in these frigid Christchurch winters, and so running at 6 o'clock in the morning with one pair of gloves is far too challenging for me. So I've splashed out and bought these funky Dayglow builder's gloves from Bunnings or Mitre 10 or something, and they are much better. I've got another pair of gloves underneath, and I tell you what, it's not a tropical beach, but it does make it bearable. So I'm surviving those 6 o'clock in the morning runs when it's 0 degrees, and my Reynards is making me look like an animated corpse. My hands are purple and blue and pink and stuff. I'm actually managing to survive those runs. The next piece of kit, this is the one I'm really excited about, particularly being on the trails like I am today, running up and down muddy hills. The next piece of kit, and wait for it, whoa, is those shoes. So I've gone out and I'm still running in my Vibrams. On the road. They are a road shoe, so that makes sense. They're designed for pavement and all of that, and they're still strengthening your feet and blah 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 blah, all the benefits from running barefoot. But it's become clear in the last few weeks when Christchurch has been hit with the cold and the rain and the trails aren't drying up, and it's quite difficult to run on those trails. And so I needed something that provides me with enough stability and grip and really gives me the confidence to go faster on the trails, because I found running in my Vibrams, when it was a bit slick, I'd sort of really slow down to a crawl and you're sort of like going really slowly just so you don't slip over. Whereas I've just tested these out. I tested them out yesterday on my interval runs. I did that on the trails, on the flat. And then today I'm way up in the hills, and they've really made a difference. They're a big game changer. They're really super comfortable. They're like called something fierce. They're Ultra Lone Peaks or something. I don't know. Trail Claws, something ferocious and fierce, something like that. And they really do have spikes. You can see all the mud that I've rammed into them already. So they've really made a difference, like I say. And having that confidence to run through a puddle and not be wary of skating on it like it's ice, but actually grip into it like you're a rugby player in a park with your big sprigs. I tell you what, it makes such a difference. Now, big reason that I bought these is because I've got a race coming up. So Fusion, the guy that do the Valley Ultra and the Ultra 24, which I'm doing later in the year, and for what this whole thing is training for, they've also got the Forest Run Festival series. So the one coming up July 5th is the Frost variant of that. So that's out at beautiful Bottle Lake Forest, and it's going to be cold as hell. But I'm looking forward to putting my new shoes to the test so I can run through the forest. It's going to be nice and flat, but super cold, super slick, and super muddy. And I'm hopefully going to have a ball. So they've got a few different race lengths. They've got 21Ks, which is what I'll be doing. They've got 10Ks, 5Ks, and then for young kids, they've got 2Ks as well, which would be super cool. So I'm really excited to actually go out on a half marathon distance. That's the longest that I've run in a race setting. So I'm actually excited to run that distance and push myself and see how I go against everybody else and put my new shoes to the test. So that's what I'll be doing July 5th. If anybody else is around, or you're in Ototahi and you just want to come out for a run, like I said, they've got a few different distances, so come check it out and I might see you on the finish line. Otherwise, this week coming up, my training is my last week of my VO2 max training schedule. So like it was yesterday, that means 2 more sessions of VO2 max intervals that are 3 minutes long. So hopefully this time next week my legs won't be jelly, because after yesterday, one session that was pretty hard, and 2 of those in 1 week plus an endurance run is going to push my legs to the limit, I think, for now. But it's the last week of this training block, so I'm going to push myself. So I'll see you guys out and about. You guys have an awesome week. You guys look after yourself. Stay safe. Peace.